My wife was not able to come. She's a school teacher, and my daughters are obviously in school, so this is what they sent over.
Hi, Cheese Point friends. This is Jackie,
Bella,
and Layla. We miss you all and look forward to serving you as a family.
And yes, they really loved meeting all of you in our events that we're having through this district area for you folks. I just want to share that with you all. And you know, there's nothing like coming together as a family, as friends, as neighbors. And I just want to thank Fred and everyone that put this together. I want to thank for this time we've been able to share together, and really what it shows to be a leader and a servant leader and a purpose. We all have a purpose. Some of us are called to be firefighters. Some of us are called to be nurses, while some of us are called to lead. And that's the purpose that I feel in my heart that I need to be doing, and that's it's a servant leader. And with that, I want to be able to serve this community with integrity. I want to be able to serve this community with service and dedication to everyone. It's across the board through the whole entire city, not just this district, but all 4 districts. And we represent everybody in it. We have to love people, we have to care for them, and we have to be there for them, whether it's before they go into a battle per se, or to be next to them, or to be behind them, to be able to, you know, go out and hold signs in the sun saying we don't want a charter school. And that's the reason why I'm running for mayor, because I love people and I care for them, and I want to make people smile. That's what we do. That's what servant leaders do. And with that, I'm just going to conclude that there. I know many of you have heard my stories over and over and over. I'll save you some of the drama, and I look forward towards your questions. Thank you so much.
Okay. Can you hear me? Good. Name is Gerald. I'm a resident of Kings Point. Before I do anything, I want to introduce my wife of 62 years and my partner. That's Fran Heller, the best mayor's wife that you'll ever find, and the best wife you'll ever find. The first 5 minutes, and hopefully I don't go over, is to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about myself, and then we'll have an opportunity during the course of the questions and answers to get into particulars. First of all, let me thank Fred, Pat, Sherry, who else? Everybody, 23 people mentioned that are doing the volunteer work here. Thank you all, it's phenomenal. I did leave somebody else out, I'm so sorry. Marty, I am so sorry, I left you out. Marty as well. They were great, they set this up, there's 350 people, and there's a waiting list, and it's unbelievable how much work went into putting this whole thing together. And I hope you appreciate it, and I hope we don't spend too much time talking so you can get some very good food from Ferros. My background, in this community within a mile and a half for most of my life. So I'm obviously a Floridian, I'm a Tamarac, I'm a Broward County. I spent 4 years on the county commission for small business and for economic development. After a 30-year period in Broward County, we put 14 issues on the ballot, and the commission has approved it a few months ago. I spent time doing volunteer work for the last 60 years. First 20 in New York, where I was a business owner and a founder of a very large corporation. 3 generations, still in business, doing basically the same thing that I started up that many years ago in a garage. I'm good at that. I get businesses into the city, and I want to get businesses into the city to make it grow, to make it move out of the shadows of Sunrise and Coral Springs, and bring it into a position where we can get the city to be prosperous. That's what I've always spent my life doing, and that's what I want to do for the city. My background, I've worked in all the universities, helping them develop and mentor them in terms of small businesses growing in this community. For people that don't know, I brought Snapple for 8 years into the city. I spent 2 days a week for 2 years in Publix lobby to try to get them to take our product. We did put 50 different units into Publix. Not an easy trip, but I have the opportunities to do that. I have the desire to do that. And in 82 years, I'm your Kings Point mayor. I'm here for you, and I want you hopefully to be here for me. Thank you.
All right. My name is Michelle J. Gomez, and I am very proud to be here today. And as my candidates on the ballot with me have said, thank you to everyone who's put this together, and most of all, thank you for joining us here today. I am also very grateful to see such wonderful turnout. I am proud to have gotten to know many of you, and so some of the stuff I will share with you about myself today might be a repeat, so bear with me. As I said, my name is Michelle J. Gomez. I am currently running for mayor. I am your vice mayor. I've had the privilege of serving on the Tamarac Commission for the better part of 8 years. I'm originally a New Yorker. You might be able to tell when I say a few words that come out of my mouth with that little accent. I've lived here 24 years, same location in the Woodlands. I moved down because my grandparents were here. They moved down in '78, and I've had the pleasure of coming down there for the approximately 40 years before. I can't do the math right now, but between '78 and '94 when I decided to move down. I am an attorney. I went to American University in DC. I got my master's in public communication and marketing. My bachelor's is in economics, legal institutions, government, and I then decided to go to law school. I ran a small nonprofit organization when I first moved down, and I'm very proud of the work we did for this foundation, which helped children, and we built a small hospital in Weston. So through my desire to do more and learn more, when I decided I was not moving back to New York, I decided to talk to my association president about getting a fence in my community. Well, I was at an association meeting, and what was handed to me was a flyer that said, here, learn about Tamarac University. Little did I realize at the time, I was actually talking to our mayor, Mayor Talisco, and I'm very happy that she is here today. And so I'm very proud that my path has led me here due to that conversation regarding a fence and being led to Tamarac University. When I decided I wasn't moving back, I wanted to be able to give back to my community and participate. And that then led me to being appointed to the City Commission in 2010, July 2010, where I knew I would serve a temporary time, and then I was reappointed in 2013, and proud to be elected in 2014. So I've served, as I said, for the better part of 8 years. I am proud to have the endorsements of the Metro Broward Professional Firefighters, Hispanic Vote of Broward County, the NYPD 1013 Club of Broward County, the AFL-CIO, Broward Teachers Union, and the Broward Sheriff's Deputy Association. So I'm hoping, while I enjoy all of those, there's a couple more that are still pending, but the most important endorsement for me would be from you. So I look forward to answering any questions that you have, and hopefully having your support to be your mayor. Thank you.
Specifically, I know that you all have good intentions in doing things for us as a community, but why are you running? What is your motivation? That's it.
Wait, Lisa, I was
let me
going
handle
first.
that. We're all going to have a chance to answer, of course. My motivation is that I've lived in this community for 44 years. It's always been a puzzlement to me as to why our city hasn't come out of the woodwork, so to speak, to become a leader in legal medical marijuana is one, illegal in the active gun issues is two. We don't ever take the forefront in the most important fights that we have that are dictated by the executive branches and the state branches. We can do much, much more than we're doing now, and I could do much, much more. I have always been an opportune guy in terms of bringing businesses into communities. I see all the various stagnant communities that haven't grown and are now depressed. I see all those filled with good paying jobs and money bringing into the community so that this city becomes #1 top cities for small businesses. Right now, it's not within the top 100 in the United States. We've got Sunrise on a list in the top 10. We've got Weston, #2. We've got Lauderhill, #13. And we've got Tamarac, #0. They're way out of the league of people that can take advantage of all the space that we have for small businesses, all the abilities in terms of all the 65,000 people that would like to earn a good living in Tamarac. And that's why I'm running and spending the last chapter of my life basically serving you in Kings Point and serving the city of Tamarac for everybody. Make it a city of excellence. That's why I'm running.
Thank you for that question. So, when I moved to Tamarac, my wife and I wanted to find a city where we can raise our girls. A city that was far away from the craziness of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, somewhere that was more peaceful. And Tamarac was the best candidate, actually. So it's a great city to live in. And when I look at my children, it's a representation of all the children in the community. And when I look at my parents and grandparents, it's a great representation of this community, of the entire 50% of the community in Tamarac, in the whole city. And on one end, we want to make sure that the children in our communities, they start life well, while the other side ends well. And we're in the middle. So we have to make sure that one begins good and the other ends good. And we just have to bite the bullet, per se. So I like to consider myself a servant leader, and that's what servant leaders do. We make sure that one group starts and the other one ends. And that's why I'm running for mayor. Because everything else, briefly, everything else is simple. Budgeting is simple. Reading legislation is simple. We have a great staff. We have an awesome city manager and city attorney. We have the commission, and it's a group effort. It's not solely dependent on the mayor. And that's why I'm running for mayor. And that's why I want to be your mayor. It's an investment for the future. It really is. That's why I like to tell people, I'm in it for the long run and not just short term. You know, I'm here, just what it is. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Why am I running? That's a very good question, and my candidates have said certain things as well. But I'm running to continue the great work that we've been doing. We have started wonderful projects. As has been mentioned, we are a city that is diverse. We go from 0 to 107. We have to keep our communities active, our people active, because without our people, we don't have a city. I'm not sure where some of the statistics are, but I do know we are the 41st largest city in Florida. So out of 411 cities, we are the 41st largest city. So we do need to make sure we plan for everybody to make sure that while we're here, we're happy, we're active, we have things that we need, and making sure that we have programs for every age group. We have education for every age group, because just because we're seniors doesn't mean we don't go back to school. And I've had the privilege of being in a class with some of our seniors. Also, the points about our plazas, I'm sure that's going to be a question asked later, but that's also why I'm running, is to see the work that we've been putting into. We have spent the past 3 years rewriting our code, redoing our land use. So when our businesses come into our shopping plazas, they know if they can do that without having to spend a lot of extra time and being caught up in red tape. They can move in or they can't move in. We are very proud of the hard work that we've been doing. We don't own those properties. The landlords, property owners own those properties. We can't tell you who can move in, except within our parameters of our new code and our land use. And that's what we're working very hard to ignite the economic development in here. I'm very proud to say that Pine Island and McNabb, that shopping plaza that has been an eyesore for quite some time, There is a developer in there talking to the landlord now and trying to work things out to see if they can bring in some buildings and some business there. So I'm looking forward to continuing the process and listening to everybody and seeing where we can go. Thank you very much.
Three great candidates. Here we go, sir. Go ahead.
And, my name is Tony Figueroa from Trent Neighborhood, and question is for all three candidates. The last few years, we've had some issues with the city council and the city manager regarding the placement of certain facilities. The first one being the movement a few years ago to put a charter school here on the property on Nob Hill. The second one being last year when the city wanted to put a fire station over here. Both of these proposals from the city were not well received by this community, as demonstrated by the fact that neither one of these projects moved forward. The question is, if elected, what are your particular plans in the future regarding, for example, a placement of a school in this community, a placement of a fire station, or what the city plans to do with that city-owned property where they originally wanted to put originally the charter school, and they plan to still leave open?
Got it. Thank you for the question. You residents and friends and neighbors here probably remember, most of you, the charter school issue. And if you did remember that, you do remember that the guy that spent close to 500 hours with Terry Andretti, by the way, was very helpful, led the community and fought the city manager, and all the stubbies that wouldn't commit to making sure that that school did not come into our neighborhood. Michelle mentioned the land use. I'm on that committee, or was on the committee. The land use has been passed, and one of the issues on the land use is a school cannot move into a residential area if it affects the security, the safety, and the comfort of the residents. Now, of course, they can vote it out if they want to. They can do almost anything that they want to do, but that is in the land use. Those are my words. You guys came in this room, 1,000 outside this room and all over the place to support the efforts, the 15 rules that I gave all the commissioners as to why you cannot put that big a charter school in this neighborhood. I fought the police, I fought the fire department, I fought the commission. These guys wouldn't comment. They were talking about they can't say a word. It's quasi-judicial. Nowadays, they say anything that they want. I gave them the precedent so that they can do that. This is exactly why I run today as mayor of Kings Point. I don't want them to land grab us again. They tried again, and we were 13-0 against them putting in and taking off a piece of our neighborhood. They were going into King's Court for $1 a year. Unbelievable. 13-0, the board voted it out, and rightfully. They are not in our best interest. The manager has always been against Kings Point and has been fortunately ruled out, and he's been backed, rubber stamped by the commission all these years. You gotta vote for somebody that cares about you. And I'm gonna go.
Charter schools, a fire department, as much as we love them, have no place near a senior community like this. So my answer would be a no. And if the commission, on a majority base, pushes it forward, I will be fighting with you, beside you, in front of you, to make sure that does not happen. That's my short answer.
Okay, so the charter school, as I have shared with many of you, and I was actually going to say it when I first started, I should have, there will be no charter school in the sports complex. It's done. It's a done deal. It was heard. Everybody was heard. Unfortunately, the rollout of that conversation did not roll out the way it should have, but it's a done deal. It's over with, so please, Please do not be worried about it. This commission has been discussing education, but it is not discussing education in a school here in Kings Point. Okay? We heard you on that. As for the fire station, my understanding was that it was a conversation between the commissioner for District 3 and your community regarding an EMS location that might have been a benefit for the community. The community spoke, which is the reason for the communication back and forth. Community said no, it went away. So that's why we have to have it. There are some residents who bring us ideas and they would like us to follow it through. So we do. And then when we follow it through to the next meeting, which is usually the meeting with the community, and if we hear resoundingly opposite, then it doesn't go through. We hear resoundingly for, then we do what we can to make sure your wishes come true. That is the purpose of your commission. That is the purpose of the 5 of us who sit as a governing body to be able to direct our city manager and say, this is what our residents want. So there will be no fire station. There's no plan for a fire station. The EMS location is not an option anymore. And there again will be no charter school here at the sports complex in District 3.
I would like to ask all 3 of you, I had the opportunity to experience what it was like to be without power for 3 days in my condo on the 3rd floor where I couldn't take the elevator up and down during Hurricane Irma. Our elected officials, Mike Udine and Martin Bolton, were most helpful by giving us updates on Facebook. So I'm going to ask whichever one of you gets in there, responding to us when we have a situation like that, and answering us back and forth with text messages keeps us from being isolated. So whichever one of you gets there, keep that in mind, please, and execute it, please. Okay, my question, and the reason why I'm asking this, I'll tell you straight up front, is your answer is going to tell me where you are philosophically. You have a whole bunch of amendments. We've got to figure out what we're for and what we're against. To make it easy for you, I'm asking you which ones of those amendments are you especially concerned about passing that you'd rather us vote against, and why?
We're allowed to educate.
Let me answer it so we don't. I can't talk about the amendments. The 3 of us have all jointly decided that this is not an appropriate question because it's kind of political. Some of them are very political, some really aren't. The one on the penny tax is something that we probably could say something about in terms of the improvement to the community in general. But just to be honest, between the 3 of us, unfortunately, we'd rather not. You do have 3 very fine people that will take care of whatever services you have relative to power outages. That I can assure you. Our mayor, who's not running, was extraordinarily helpful during the hurricane period. So you got 3 guys here that you can depend upon when you have a need. Don't worry about that. We're here for you. In terms of your question.
If I may, also just to share along on that lines, because of the commission, and this is what the 3 of us would be doing, we're only allowed to educate. We cannot advocate. So it's not an intention to not answer your question on that one, but it's an intention not to run afoul.
Update on what's happening in the ex-Winn-Dixie and the ex-Target schools. Has there been any attempt to bring business here that will help the entire community?
Thank you.
The question was whether or not there's going to be somebody moving into the Winn-Dixie Shopping Plaza and the Target. As for the Target, we cannot tell you because that is Lauderhill. So unfortunately, we do not know, but we are hoping for something good because we obviously cross borders and shop there. As for Winn-Dixie, it is our understanding that there have been some businesses that are looking into that building and doing their due diligence. What it is at this time, we do not know. The way the process works, the landlord will be approached by the person who wants to buy it or rent it. and then they will come to the city and ask for approvals and an occupancy license. If it's already something that we approve, like a shopping center, a grocery store, then they don't need an approval from the city, they just get an occupancy. So we do not know just yet, but we do know people are interested.
Yeah, we were told that there is activity in the Winn-Dixie, and of course the Target is a whole different situation because it's not in our city at all. But generally speaking, there's many opportunities for us to put business, not necessarily businesses that demand traffic like a Target or a Winn-Dixie does, but smaller startup companies. In my situation, I've done 9 companies like that, added garages in similar locations as garages. Some of them are multi-billion-dollar companies. You want to get those things taken care of because it's relatively easy as compared to finding a tenant for the Winn-Dixie. But as time goes on, you have a wave of ins and outs. The economy is always looking to improve, but the economy also, with stores like Target and large box stores, have major problems. We always have to look into the future. That's what a leader does. He's looking to see when Winn-Dixie is going to make that decision and works on that store and that location a year or 2 before the actual thing happens. A leader has to look into the future. In terms of our current manager, he's looking into the future. He's got more recently 2 job opportunities that he explored, one in Michigan, and he might not be there. And if he isn't there, it's not going to bother me as a leader because I'm going to predict and push the issues myself. There are other very competent people within the administration and the city that can take care of that situation handedly. Not a problem at all, with a proper leader who's used to a $200 million per year budget. I've done that, and I can continue to do that, and I want to do that. That's another reason why I'm running.
Elvin, you gonna answer that question?
A Whole Foods store would be nice, or anything that's really national name brand stores that can drive business in would be good. So if any of us gets elected, something good that drives business would be good.
Yes.
When you get elected, whoever gets elected, what is your priority as far as, okay, I got elected, I've got these in my agenda. What part is on the top of your agenda? Is it, figuring out budgets? Is it helping us? What's your agenda? I just want to know, what are your priorities when elected as mayor?
My priority is what I've discussed before. Number one on the issue is to bring up the economy, take care of the depressed areas that we have, and fill those up with small businesses, bring money into the community. Get Tamarac to participate in the issues, the major issues that are being fed down from the executive businesses and the state businesses. We have to handle the medical marijuana. It's urgent. I had personal issues with that when my mom died many, many years ago, when she was 50 years old. These people need medical marijuana, and it has to be dispensed in this community and at prices that are reasonable, because there are people here that can't even afford, unfortunately, the prices that are being quoted. Other issues that are important, we have some problems of the older community, in this community particularly, but the older community throughout Tamarac. 11% of our over 75 women aged are within and under the poverty level. There's needs for help in those situations. There's need for low-priced rents, low-priced residents, for the community at large. This is an area that I want to work on. I want to make sure that we do that as well. In terms of Kings Point, my priority is obviously, because I'm a resident of Kings Point, to do things to keep you safe, to keep you secure, to keep you comfortable while you're here, and that goes for all the Elvin community, an area that I concentrated on for over 60 years.
To answer your question, everything is priority. What's priority to you is not priority to him. Everybody has different priorities. And I like to consider myself like a fisherman. They just throw the net and whatever comes back, it's good. So we have departments of multiple people, and everybody handles different parts of the organization. One does zoning, one does inspections. So you might have an issue with zoning, but he has an issue with inspections. To you as a priority, so to me as a priority. So everything for me is a priority when it comes to people's problems. You know, going throughout the community, I'm hearing, you know, we have permit delays, we have building department issues, and multiple issues, roadside, infrastructure. So to me, it would be everything a priority. It's just a matter of how you manage it.
It is true, everything is a priority and how you manage it. And so one of the wonderful things is to be able to take the plans that are in place. There are certain projects that we're working on that are not sexy. 1,464 manholes are being redone. Our pipes are being relined. We are working on making sure that we have our streets redone, but what are our priorities and how do we do it? And they have to be put together financially soundly, so we can do all the projects at one time. We have our beautification, our rebranding, the walls that are going up through some of the communities, basically making sure that everyone has a great sense of place, our wayfinding signs to be able to know we are here, we are in Tamarac. We are not in the Tamarac of yesteryear, we're in the Tamarac of now, and we're really proud of it. And so all of this igniting our sense of place, feeling comfortable where we are, happy to be home, knowing that we can get home safely, knowing that when we get home, we can flush our toilets, turn our lights on, and all that good stuff. Yes, we've had some power outages, but one of the things about being in office, you have connections to where you become familiar with your FP&L representative, and you say to them, our community over here in Exeter is having trouble. Why are they having trouble? Please send over a team as soon as possible to make sure everything is brought up to snuff, because we can't have our people in Exeter without power. Everything is a priority, but it has to be balanced, as has been said, and I look forward to continuing the priorities that we have been working on. As I said, some things that are not so sexy are coming out of the ground. October 10th at 10 a.m., I invite everybody to Tamarac Village, which is a great project that we've been working on. Our main street downtown, we will have 400 fair market value homes going up, and then 35,000 to 40,000 square feet of business and retail and food. We know we need some food in this place. We have an amphitheater, small amphitheater, a splash pad. It'll have Wi-Fi. It'll have a sense of place where we can all go and enjoy. So we're not going to those other cities.